wake up each morning brimming with excitement, overjoyed to begin a new day? Does your work satisfy and fulfill you? Are your relationships healthy and supportive? Does your lifestyle support your dream version of you? And finally, are you happy? Join Maya Voce, mystic warrior and energy goddess, as she takes you on a journey through the amazing world of energy. Harness the infinite powers of the universe and allow your real light to shine through. Anything can be yours. You only just have to believe.
And hello. This is Maya Voce, your host and guide to the Power of Five here on OMTimes Radio. And hello, beautiful beings of light. How are you? We have so much to talk about today. I was really just so excited, as always, to share this space with you. And there's just not light stuff. So there's going to be, we just got a lot of stuff to talk about. We're sitting here in this beautiful new moon energy, new moon of Leo. So I had a chance to connect with that energy and share with you what's going on. But I first just need to bring a little reel into this space, because I have to tell you, this weekend, I just don't know. Things are just going crazy in the world, aren't they? And in our own personal circles, there's just so much going on so quickly. I really feel like, that proverbial gerbil, running on the gerbil wheel, which that analogy did not work in Australia because there are no gerbils really as pets. I'm not saying they don't exist, but I have found it's a very American thing to have gerbils with a gerbil wheel. So when we use that analogy, they looked at me like, wait, what? What's that? Oh, it's kind of like a guinea pig? No. So it didn't really work. But being here now on U.S. soil, I can share with you that analogy that is what it feels like. So it's just this wheel that's going faster and faster. And one level doesn't feel like we're getting it anywhere, but we certainly are. And we're going to talk about that. There's just this presence of duality that has been, but really just getting stronger. First, I'll have just bring a little funny into this world of heaviness and share with you that, yes, I'm coming to you live from the beautiful big island of Hawaii here on the top of Volcano, in the town of Volcano. Yes, a thing and a town. And it's just been a crazy energy here these last 2 weeks. Just feeling it, like literally had to stop my day, lay down and just align myself with the universal energies that exist here that are so just magnified. And it feels to me like I was on a boat just going up and down. So I really represent physically the energies. And so I sink in to that energy and bring my own into alignment. But it can be very overpowering. And my little one, who of course is a sensitive, magical little being, feeling it as well. And mommy, I just don't feel right. It's energy. Sit down with mommy. Let's just focus, for a little bit, but just crazy energies. And, highlighted by everything that's going on in the world. So wait, I was going to talk about the funny. So I am coming to you live, yes, from Volcano, but live from my daughter's room. So I just have to share that with you because it's such a craziness. I have shared we're fostering 4 little kittens, which in my bleeding heart took in because they were just A, adorable, and B, the shelter where we've been volunteering, this is overrun. I maybe, we're very focused on our realities, but the animals' realities have been impacted as well by COVID. And so there was just so many little kittens there. And so we said, we'll take a group home, all for one little male among 3 little females, and thought maybe it would be 2 weeks to 3 weeks to 4 weeks. And so it's just going on. And they've overrun I had a big dog crate for them, so they have plenty of room in the garage. But they're too big now. And anyway, my heart is too big. So they're in the house running amok. And they're just adorable. I know I've spoken before about kitten therapy. There's something magical about just a little kitten that's purring. But watching them play amongst themselves and just looking at everything in wonder. And I watch that and I go, that's what we have to get back to that sense of wonder when we look at the world and just everything is amazing. Every little sniff to them is amazing. And it's just, if we could harness that and recapture that, well, we can. We just need to focus on it. Bring it in meditation and really say, I want to reconnect with that wonder, with the amazement of the world, because truly, we are in an amazing place. But we get bogged down, as humans do, in what's going on. And certainly, there's a lot going on. Yesterday also, my daughter's first day of school, which has a new meaning entirely. And what that means is she goes upstairs. We've created a little workspace for her desk, and she logs on to countless Zoom meetings. Now, that being said, I am just floored by her school and very impressed, because I understand the flip side. Everybody's dealing with new things and trying to fit this round peg into this impossibly small square hole, shape. And we're doing the best we can. So I just, honor and grateful for her school for doing the best they can. The teachers have been very communicative and very excited and really trying to pull the kids in. But the reality is that we're all, in this place of, being home again, So I'm really just doing what we can. So she's in school and I'm in her bedroom. So I'm not disturbing her and she's not disturbing me. And we are kitten free. Although I do have my cat Marshmallow with me, who is usually going to behave, but you never know. And that brings the beauty of the liveness to this whole experience. But I just had to share that with you because it's a very surreal experience, I think, what we're all going through. And so many big things happening and big shifts we're seeing in our world. We've seen lots outside in the big world. And certainly we've had to adjust, or at least attempt to. I'll say that. We certainly haven't gotten to the place of normalcy where, okay, I've got some sure footing under my feet. And I feel like any sense that there was some sure footing has been just ripped away, just gone. Like I said, these last 2 weeks have just been such intense energy and bringing us to this new moon that we're in today. And this place, yes, of newness, but just intensity, isn't it? I mean, how are you feeling it in your world? This sense of just overwhelm. And I've had some conversations with, people I've known, connections over the past couple of weeks, and it really ranges from complete overwhelm, and that would be a cat in the background, yes, running amok. So just it's all good. Don't worry, just dropping something as cats do. We're just going to let him be a cat. But let's go back to here. This sense of just overwhelm, and of course this collective grief still exists, this heaviness and sadness. And we are going to get to our topic of the month, which is talking about that grief and loss of a person, of a thing, of life as it was, and the letting go. And that's gonna come up over and over. I've got it all in my notes highlighted today. This is the theme about letting go in a big way. I don't mean like letting go of some pretty little things that we go, oh yeah, I can do without those. This is like epic, epic letting go of our lifestyle, of who we thought we were, of the dreams that we had in our head, run by our ego, letting go of all of that, letting go of stuff, letting go of people, just letting go. And it's just going to be this dealing with this letting go. That's what's coming up right and circulating right now, is the dealing with it. How do we deal with it? Are we able to deal with it or not? And we're going to talk about and bring in now the essence of water, because that has just become such a strong voice. And I've been working with this beautiful group, the Loving Waters Council, where we just make space for water and allow water to speak. And I would share with you as these synchronicities are happening, and I hope you're paying attention to them. My daughter's school sent a beautiful letter out to all the parents and just rallying support. We're all in this together, and they have a theme every year. Well, I should not be surprised that the theme of this year for them is water. water. And I got goosebumps because water is speaking so clearly to so many groups. So when we're going to bring it in, now, but talk about it more towards the end of this hour, and is how to harness that, how to really work on it, and wherever you are, in whatever place that you're at. It's really all about water. And what I mean by that is about flow and about that fluidity. And that's the essence of dealing with and working with that essence of letting go. So yeah, there's big stuff today, and I didn't even get into them yet. We didn't even start talking about the new moon. So yes, new moon, let's talk a bit about that right now. This is the time, of course, that we plant new seeds, but there's so much more that's going on than just that right now, because we're in this just tremendous shifting. And that's what I'm seeing right now is that, yes, this is a time to plant those seeds, right? But know that those seeds that you plant right now, they're going to have such ripples. That was the image that came to me smack on this morning when I connected with this energy. I saw this huge pool and this little pebble come from above, which is you setting your intentions. And it just went out through the universe. So really pay attention to what you're sowing today, whether it be a new project, whether it just be bringing in more calm, or I just came through right now, I'm going to share with you is water, just harnessing that power of water and bringing it in, inviting it into your life. So key right now. Really, this energy is so paying attention to your energy. So really be mindful of what you're sending out right now. Yes, it feels like, it really feels like to me that we're going faster and faster and faster. Things are just popping into a place, connections being forged. And we spoke about that months ago, how this would be a time of connection and reconnection of souls that you've known, lifetimes. And I've seen it in my life. Just should have been like, oh yeah, just meeting a new person. And then 4 hours later, we finish a conversation, and it's been amazing, amazing connection. So I hope you're seeing that. You should be in some way in your life. But it's a sense of going faster and faster and like, can't catch our breath. That's truly where I am. And knowing, though, that, it's a sense that we're not doing enough as humans, because we always have that. We really think that we need to do down here in the physical plane. But really where it's at is planting those seeds in the energetic plane. So it's not so much about doing right now. Let me curtail that a little bit. It is about doing, but it's not wasting energy. So, we humans like to rush around and do stuff and feel busy and feel like we're doing stuff. That's not the energy right now. This is really about sinking in to your heart space. And we spoke last time about that coming into alignment, especially with this energy of Saturn still present, coming into alignment and only putting energy into those key things that are bubbling up from your inner space and from your heart space, from your deep wisdom. Do those things. Let go of the others. So it's a real focus of energy. And I'm bringing my grandmother, who after she passed came to me, and I saw her in that space in between, and she said, Mia, just focus. You'll get what you want. You'll bring that in, but you need to focus. So that has been a key word for years now. And I still feel like just coming to the tip of the iceberg with some of these, big phrases, big things that are out there. But focus, as in focusing your attention, your energy, visualizing on that target. So all of that relevant right now. Isn't that enough? You think? No, of course not. Let's see how much time I have to bring in Eris, because we are also sitting in the energy of Mars, which of course is the fiery warrior sign. It is the ruling planet of Aries, which I am, so well know that fiery warrior energy. But a friend of mine sent me a link, and I learned something over the weekend. So I dove into this new learning and this new knowledge. But Mars has a sister planet called Eris. And I, like I said, I just dove into this new wisdom, and I'm going to share it with you. We might run out of time in a second, but I'm going to share lots about this, because this new energy that has been discovered, and I say new because, of course, she's been out there for a zillion years, but we humans have just discovered her as a dwarf planet in 2003. And she is a dwarf planet. And what she did is she shook things up right away. And she's called the goddess of discord and strife. And right away, she threw out some little targets because what she did was she sent this ripple through the scientific community about what is a planet. And you might recall, and I actually do, when they deplanetized Pluto. I don't know if that's a word. But remember, they kind of demoted Pluto from a planet to a dwarf. I remember thinking that, well, what does that mean? Does that mean the energy changes? Does that mean, what does it really mean? Well, what I did not know is that all of that and that happened because of the discovery of Eris, because there was this big discussion when she was found, because she is also classified as a dwarf. What is a planet? What's not? And so she actually, and I say again, the goddess of discord and strife, was the reason that Pluto, who of course is the ruler of the underworld, she demoted the ruler of the underworld from a planet state to a dwarf. So I think that says a lot right there about what the energy she brings in. And she is going to be very present from now through the end of the year. So I want to share more thoughts about what she's about, because truly, when I was reading this, I and researching and diving in and connecting with her specifically over this weekend, I thought, oh my goodness, like this is it. This is this is what's going on. This is such a big thing. So again, goddess of discord and strife. But you know what? She is about change. She is about, breaking through of old constructs. She's about breaking through with, and I'm going to say this word, the patriarch, but I don't mean it as a male, gender, female thing, just about the society structure that we have of power over. So I put that out. So she's about breaking that up. And reinventing things. She's about allowing the new to come through. But first, she has to do her work, and she needs to shatter, and she needs to break. And like I said, discord, strife, those key words. And I'm not coming up with those. If you do some research, that's what comes up straight away. Eris, goddess of discord and strife. And I said, well, that's very Lilith energy. That's something very, very interesting. Let's tap into this more. That's what she's about breaking through. She's about instability. She's about disharmony. But behind that, it's not chaos. Behind that is the need to change things. And that's where we're at right now. And I think that's a beautiful moment to pause and to sit with that, the need to change things. All right. So welcome, Eris, to our circle, goddess of discord and strife. And we're going to take just a little breath, and I'm going to invite Marshmallow to leave the room as he's driving me nuts, and then we'll come back in a moment. So, aloha.
Bringing a more conscious lifestyle to your world. OMTimes Radio. IOM FM.
Ascending Hearts is no ordinary dating site, but a spiritual dating site with a purpose, to link you with your soulmate. We engineer the serendipity so you can trust that you will attune with someone that has the same matching vibration as you. Ascending Hearts, the conscious dating site for the spiritually aware. Try Ascending Hearts for free. AscendingHearts.com.
My name is Victor Furman. Some call me the Voice. I've always been fascinated with human nature, spirituality, science, and the crossroads at which they meet. Join me Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern on OMTimes Radio, and we'll explore these topics and so much more on Destination Unlimited.
A social distancing tip.
Putting distance between yourself and others is critical to slowing the spread of coronavirus. So here are ways to stay in contact without the physical contact part. Call, send a text, set up a video conference, post on social media, dedicate a song on the radio. If you have symptoms of fever, dry cough, and shortness of breath, call your healthcare provider before going to their office. For more info, visit coronavirus.gov.
Let's all do our part, because we're all #alone together. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
And hello. This is Maya Voce, your host and guide to the power of 5 here on OMTimes Radio. And I just have to share with you that we've now been welcomed by Sylvester, my crazy, stubborn dog. Oh, my goodness, the world's most stubborn dog. And when I was on air in Sydney, I would start every show with Tales from Sylvester. How when we go for a walk, he just does his own thing. He was a rescue dog, so, obviously not leash trained when he was younger. And he just likes to, go one side of the road to the other side of the road. But he has this very strange habit of wanting to just go in the middle of a road when a car is approaching. And just to paint the picture, we are here on Volcano. It's a cul-de-sac. There's no busy road. And the only people coming down here are people who live here. But it's just, it's a strange habit. Car coming, Sylvester go in the middle of the road. And he's one of those dogs you can't pull. He's little. He's a foxy terrier. So he used to be 13, 14 pounds, but he's been going around eating all the kittens and the cat's food. And I swear he's put on a little bit. Going to have to up our walkies, I think, today. But he'll just sit. He'll just sit in the middle of the road and you'll pull. And the people around here now know, and they stop their cars and laugh. Oh, it's Sylvester. But I literally will have to pick him up. He just will not budge. It's like he's saying, I'm king of this road. I am sitting here. I'm not moving. That's it. So he was scratching at the door and, my daughter didn't ask, but yes, he's in here now. So just again to paint the scene, coming to you live from beautiful Hawaii. Although it's one of a very typical misty day here in Volcano where the rain comes in sideways, as my daughter says, because it is literally like being in a cloud. So it's not full on rain. It really is just misty, and the mist goes in all directions. So that is the morning we're having now. So I could not come to you live outside as I so enjoy, and I love bringing that energy to you. Well, of course, I can bring that energy to you as well, but I am also sharing my daughter's room with Sylvester and my marshmallow, who's sitting on my lap and was trying to enjoy chewing the wires to all of Mommy's gizmos here. Yes. So anyway, wasn't I talking about bringing in the energy of water? And I remind myself daily that is, or if not moment by moment, that is really what's calling, because it's all about just taking things in stride right now and not forcing. And that's, I'm looking at my other page of notes here, and like letting go is highlighted, circled, underlined, letting go. And not forcing. Not forcing. We humans, we think we get these things in our head and we go, that's what I'm doing and that's it. And then we start down that road towards that goal we've put in our heads, and we start knocking our head instantly. The doors aren't opening and opportunities are not coming. The energy feels very heavy, stagnant. You're getting sign from above and you're getting sign all over the place. You might get music that's, stop, but we don't pay attention because in our head, we're going, that's the way I need to go. And we've been taught to break through doors, right? To just march forward. And I'm going to unlearn all of that because that is such, lots of words come to mind, but it's just not the way we need to go, especially now. So if there's anything to unlearn, which is a word that's been popping up over and over, I see it everywhere on social media, the unlearning. To me, it's just remembering more than unlearning. And of course, that is just the letting go of that whole concept of forcing. This is so not about forcing. And if you're trying to force something right now, goodness, I'm sure it feels like you're not going to head against the wall. Because the universe is not supporting that energy right now at all. It is supporting the energy of water and about letting go. So, let's talk about letting go. Let's dive into it a bit. Our topic this month was about death, dying, grief, and I'm bringing in letting go. There's this collective grief right now for the life that has been let go, the things that have been let go, going to a sporting event. Like, I am not a sporting person, but I would really love to go to a Blackhawks game right now and feel that energy. I'm just amazing, or anything like that, where humans come together and there's music and roaring, and yeah, we're missing that right now, aren't we? Well, I am, and I didn't think I'd ever say that. We're just missing that collective energy. This has been a scattering of energy and a rebuilding and reforging of energy, but it is very different, and we're on very not solid ground. And like I said, last 2 weeks, any solidity you were feeling has been ripped away. It's just gone in the mists of time. And as we stand today in this new moon in Leo, so this fiery energy, it is about seriously letting go. This is that exercise where you visualize yourself on the top of a cliff and, swan dive over it into that place of trust, knowing the universe is going to catch you and to guide you on the true path. That's where we're at, people. That's where we're at today. This is seriously about letting go of notions, everything. There's not one word that encapsulates the amount that we're being asked to let go. Look at it. We can't make plans, can we? And I know that's driving a lot of people nuts. My Virgo, beautiful sister, she is a Virgo and likes to put, step by step by step. And people with that energy right now, it's really, really affecting you because we're not able to make plans. Goodness, from day to day. My daughter's school was supposed to start, didn't start, starting yesterday in a new fashion. It's just stuff like that. We're all on this quicksand, and learning how to walk almost again, or I should say swim, to bring back into that essence of water, because again, it's about flow. So I so strongly and with love and blessings and aloha send this message to you. If you're sitting in that place of bashing your head against the wall, really sit with what is the element right now that is causing you to do that. What human thing, what ego-driven thing? Is it because you can't make plans? Because your business has changed? Because your daily routine has changed? What exactly is it? And really sit with that and bless it with water. We can create little ceremonies with water to invite it into our day. And there's just so many things. I've got a little bowl outside that I filled with spring water that we bring up from our local spring. And I sing to the water, send love to the water. If you send love to water, it sends love back to you. So I can do hours and hours of ritual and ceremonies. So don't want to distract from our theme of letting go. But if we're bringing in the essence of water, it does mean bringing it in some way. And it can be a very simple way of just having a little bowl of water, like I said, and just connecting with it energetically. Honoring water, don't waste water. Think what it is your relationship with water. Remember, you are water. Let's get down to it. How much percentage of our bodies is water? So we ourselves are filled with water. So my own personal practice, I say, the waters of my body come to greet the waters of the world. And in that way, I feel connected and we connect. And that's one of my own personal practices to start my day. Usually I'm going around with all of the elements, but it has been so strongly water. So think about, what is your relationship with water? Is it something that you take for granted, as most of us do? Something that's just there. We can turn on the tap and there's some fresh, clean running water we can drink. How many loads of laundry are you doing over the week? What are you throwing into the laundry? Is it earth friendly? So many things we can think about, right? This is all about the shifting and the changing, really evaluating what we're doing with our daily life and what is our place with the whole world. And again, focusing on that energy of water. What is your relationship with water? And again, remembering that you yourself are water and water is life. So if we can't bring that, and wow, this just wound up to water is speaking, because that's not where I imagined to go today, but it's bringing that element back to the sacred and honoring water as a sacred, living, conscious being, which it is. So start today. What is your relationship with water? What is your relationship with yourself? I think is the bigger question under that, since we are such a great percentage of water. And that brings us to really a deep and big place, doesn't it? Because if we don't change our thinking about water and our waterways, we are in some deep places. Literally, get it? Oh, that was a little joke, a little thing. But we are in that sense. So again, honoring my daughter's school, who is bringing in that message of water for them and saying that we need to be fluid. So letting go. Let's get back to that and letting go. and I had wanted to talk about letting go in the sense of grief and letting go of, of a person. But it was such a bigger topic today. So as I was sitting and connecting and writing my notes, I said, it's not just about a person, though it can be. And you all know I've shared very openly my journey of letting go of my partner last year, who just was here one moment and not the next. And that kind of loss is very disruptive, to the person that's here. Any loss is disruptive. I don't mean to give more validity to one. But when you're sitting in that space of 5 minutes ago, your life was one thing, and then 5 minutes next, it's another thing that takes a long time to get through. But the one thing that I have highlighted here to mark out and to bring forth is that the journey of grief and the journey of letting go of anything, and particularly a person, there is no rules to that journey, and there is no timeline to that journey. So if you are sitting yourself in the waters of grief, be kind to yourself. And if you're sitting with someone who is a close friend who is sitting in that place, please, by all means, it's not a time for judgment or time of thought. It is simply a time to be and to exist. There is no timeline. In that moment when that person is here and then gone, that emotion, that energy of that moment, that lasts with you forever. So it can feel just as real, just as I'm struggling to come up with a great word right there in our English language, I would say, but it's just as real because that energy is still with you. So 10 years down the road, it can feel just as real. There is no getting over the loss of a person. There really isn't. Time shifts things and it changes things slightly, but there really, and I say this fully and with love, there is no getting over the loss of a person. It's just learning to work with it, I think is the way to put it. It's learning to work with it, which is why ritual and why ceremonies, even something as little as creating a sacred space in your home dedicated to that person with a photo, or if a photo is too painful, which it is in our house right now for my daughter, we don't have pictures of my partner up because it's just too real for her, but we have things. We have some of his things out, to symbolize him and that we're of him. So creating that sacred space in your home to honor the person. And when Pete passed, the ceremonialist and counselor that I was working with, a dear friend of mine and mentor for years past, and she just stepped up and worked with me in ceremony and really made me see in my face how important that element of ceremony is in ritual, in working through the process of loss and grief. And I forgot completely what the message was. I got it. It came back because it's important. And she said to me, you might want to put this aside right now because it is really painful and really raw. She goes, but you need to make space for grief on a daily basis, because if you don't make space for it, it will find you. And I can attest to you 19 months into this journey that is absolutely, absolutely a fact. We like to go on in our life and not sit in that pain. We want to push it aside. We want to bury it, lock it away, because it is painful and it is raw and it is vulnerability. And it is that dark journey. And so we like to do that and pretend it's not there. But what we're doing when we do that is really we're just creating like a frozen pond over it that is very thin ice. That darkness is all underneath. And we might be skating on top one moment, but we get to that moment where there's a crack in that ice and a bit thinner, and boom, down we go. And that is exactly the journey of grief. I think that's a really great analogy that just popped in. I'm going to write that down so I remember. But that is exactly what it's like. It is constantly skating on thin ice because you feel like you're on solid ground and you can get through the day, and you might be able to in a certain frame of mind. But then that next moment and that next day, you have a smell or you have a memory, or your friend, like this weekend, a friend of Pete's sent me some photos. And it just took me, by surprise. Beautiful moments that was a completely different space. So it's in those moments of rawness, when grief comes again, that instead of pushing it aside, we look it in the eyes and say, I honor you, grief. You are here. You are real. It is pain. It is raw. It is vulnerability, but it is a part of life. And it's a part of life right now that needs a voice, because we can no longer skate on that ice and pretend there's not anything underneath, because there is so much underneath that needs answering, it needs reckoning, and it needs a voice. So that is part and parcel what I am doing here, and feel that is certainly not something I will be working with in just one day or two, because it is so important. And it is so important to vocalize the journey of grief in that place and about reconnecting to our bodies. Again, in that moment after loss, so many people in the best interest and with love in their hearts want to offer us things which will hide the journey, take away the pain, do whatever to get us through. And again, without putting rules to grief, I would just state from my experience that there is so much value in sitting in that rawness and honoring that space. Because you got to go through it. There is no jumping over grief and going, oh, yeah, okay, I'm fine today. That's not going to happen. And shame to our society that says you get 2 days, 4 days for a funeral and you're supposed to bounce back and get back to work. That is not reality. And that is just something that we need to shift, because it just won't happen until we sit in honor that grief is a real and living thing that needs to be fed. And like I said, needs to be honored. We can't get through to the light in this life until we journey into that dark and into those dark spaces. It's through those dark spaces that the greatest moments of transformation can be given birth and given life. And I think bringing it back to Eris, remember our sister to Mars, who I've just discovered this weekend. What a fabulous thing to discover. She is all about sitting in those dark spaces. She's all about saying, this is my journey. And I'm okay with my journey. I'm okay with who I am. And I'm not saying yay or nay to anyone else. I'm not nobody. Nobody sway me off my path. That's what she's about. And when she comes to a wall that she says, all right, this is a wall that I need to work with and to break through, she's breaking through that wall, or she comes up to an old constructs and she says, this wall needs to come down. And honey, it's coming down. That's the energy. That's what we're working with right now. To bring it back to grief, it is your own journey. So we need to be okay with the fact that it's our journey and there is no timeline, there is no right or wrong. And anyone that's coming at you with judgment or thought that's critical or suggestions of what you should do, you lovingly need to detach from that person and get back into your space and say, this is my journey. That really, there's no stronger thing. I'm not saying advice or just it's just such wisdom that's come out of this 19 months. And I know that those that have journeyed with this, with grief and with loss, you understand that being in that space is your space, and you truly do feel like you're on an island of your own. And that's okay too, because it is an island of your own at that moment. You and the person that has journeyed away. It's an island filled with both intense love for what was and still for that person. And the other thing I'd like to share is just because you lose a person or even a thing, as we're so shifting in our world today, the love that you have for that person doesn't need to it doesn't disappear. And you don't need to end that. That love that you have, that state of being, that vibration that is love, that high vibration, there's such beauty in that. There's such value in that still. You can still share that with a person that's not physically here, because guess what? Their energy is still here and they're still resonating with that place of love. That is such a big thing. And so again, making that little sacred space in your house is a time to connect in love. Love, loss, grief, all of it mingled together. But knowing that love you have in your heart for that person that has now transitioned into the light, they're still feeling it. And you can still feel theirs. And there can still be that exchange of love. And I think that's a beautiful thing. I think that's a beautiful thing and helped me in my journey. So let's take a breath there. That's some big stuff that we're talking about. And so just sending you aloha, take a breath, and be back in a moment.
your conscious connection to a more mindful world. OMTimes Radio, IOM FM. Being a radio host on IOM FM allows you to build your show on a rich platform with the power of the internet to fulfill your outreach goals and connect with a very specialized and global online audience, unlimited by time and distance. OMTimes Radio will provide you with web relevance, a recognizable conscious brand, and with the standard of excellence that has accompanied every single OMTimes endeavor. Host your show with OMTimes Radio Network.
Hello, I'm Sandy Sedgbeer, host of OMTimes Magazine's flagship radio show, What is Going On? My passion is sifting through information, research, and innovations from new thought teachers, speakers, and researchers pushing back the boundaries of what we know about life, energy, metaphysics, and the universe. I love shifting perceptions about who we are, why we're here, and how quickly impossible becomes normal when we open our minds, expand our awareness, and accept that the only limits that exist are those we place upon ourselves. So if you're the kind of forward-thinking, eager investigator of what lies beyond the current reality that most perceive, why not make a date to come play with me in the field of possibilities at 4 p.m. Pacific Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Time every Thursday, and together we can discover what's really going on.
In a world that has suddenly turned dark and unfamiliar, there is one light that will never go out. Allow the light of kindness and compassion to guide you. With kindness, we can all create a better tomorrow. The Be Kind Revolution, shining the light of kindness and compassion within. www.bekindrevolution.life. Become a kindness crusader today, because everyone deserves a little kindness. And hello again. This is Voce, your host and guide to the Power of Five here on OMTimes Radio, and coming to you live from the beautiful big island of Hawaii, here on the town of Volcano, in the home of Pele, with transformation and change. And the sun is just coming out. I was sharing with you that the hour started, we were sitting in the mists of the rain. There's just clouds that come past, and it is literally like you're sitting in a cloud, this just mist that just takes you into this otherworldly place. And of course, as I am rereading for the millionth time, The Mists of Avalon by Marion Bradley, I think it is. Oh my goodness. I will have to put it on my Facebook. Can't remember all of her. She has 3 names. Marion Bradley Zimmer, I believe it is, but I will double check. But I'm rereading that for the millionth time. So I just had this sense of sitting here this morning and as the mists of Avalon just coming out of the mists. Or getting lost into them, because that's what it feels like here, is we're just being pulled away from the world that is. And certainly on one level, as we enter different dimensions, not to bring that into right now, towards the end of our hour together, we are shifting between dimensions as well. So much shifting right now that it just has this sense. But the sun is coming out, and as it does here, all of the clouds have just vanished, and it is an absolutely beautiful blue, perfect sky, and the little birds are tweeting and chirping. And much to my surprise, there's cardinals here, and there's little Chirpy, as my daughter has named her, with her has a wife, which I forget what she's named her, but they come and they sing on our banister and our lanai every morning. So just sharing that moment of beauty and aloha with you. And hoping that wherever you are, in whatever space, as we've been talking about some big things today, and how there's just such a sense of overwhelm in the world today, and grief, heaviness for all of this shifting. And, you know, when is the shifting going to be done? When can we get back to living again? That is the overwhelming sense that I have. But there's also this realization that it's just not going to happen. We're not going to snap our fingers and go backwards. But think about that, because that would be counterproductive to all of this change and shifting, wouldn't? And we were talking about the energy, and have been, of Eris, the sister to Mars, the goddess of discord and strife. What a name, right? And her message is that she helps to bring justice and equality to all, but not from changing on the outside. And when I heard this and when connected to her message, oh my goodness, it so resonated because she talks about making shifts and changes from the inside. And she says, I wake people up by making them realize that none of us are whole until we all are whole. And I just let you sit with that for a moment, because how relevant is that? And how relevant to each of us who are connecting to that piece of consciousness. And I myself, oh my goodness, it just is in all of my writings and everything that I share, is that this isn't a time to talk about out there. This really is about that journey within, because we are our reality. Okay, in that, grapple that. We are our reality. Our thoughts are energy. Our thoughts are reality. So as we make that journey inward, and we work with shifting our own energy. We work with shifting shame, shifting blame, complaining, pointing fingers, shifting that collective not worthiness. And we say, yes, it's time to honor it. Yes, bless those lessons, but it's time to let them go. And as we make those shifts within us, working with the energy of love, working with forgiveness, such a huge part of my work and with everything right now, forgiving ourselves and shifting that away, saying goodbye now. You've served your purpose. But it's time to move beyond, time to move beyond that. So as we shift within ourselves, we will see reality change, because I said it's a mirror. So that's what she says, Eris. She is saying that we need to make this journey within. She's saying, yes, my brother, Mars, he'll go off out there in battle and make some noise, but not me. She says, I am the feminine side of that. I'm Eris, she says, and we need to make that journey within, that place of stillness, that place of deep connection, that place of the sacred. That there's no other word that describes that place as the deep connection to ourself, the deep connection to the divine, to everything around us. That is the sacred. So it is in that journey and that reconnection that we will shift and build this new world now, because that is where we're at. We're in this beginning. Again, might not seem it out there, but it's an energy thing. And cosmic energies are out there with this sense of just all is possible. And as I say in the beginning of this hour together of the show, that everything is possible. You just have to believe it. And that is truly so. You have to believe it from an energy standpoint, coming into alignment with your thoughts and your heart and what they're saying. So, Eris, my hat off to you, my sister. I'm so so humbled to have discovered you, who I know have been there for billions of years, as what we're calling you, a dwarf planet, but just as a being of light and consciousness in your own place. I honor you, my sister Eris, and I look forward to journeying with you this year, because wow, you're something. It's so, the other lesson that she teaches that I've been talking about for so long is that in this time of discomfort, the key is going to be and is just finding your own comfort within that discomfort. She teaches us, Eris, that pain, we associate pain is a bad thing. And as we will talk more about the journey of dying in that moment of transition, I truly think that one of the big elements of fear, besides the unknown, is this sense of pain, that death is pain. We've somehow those two have become married together. And perhaps next week we will dive into that moment of transition, and that it does not have to be those two elements together. But at the end of our hour now, we're not going to go further in that. But she teaches Eris that pain is not necessarily a bad thing. She can teach that it's a great catalyst. It revolutionizes things. It's a great breaker of chains. I love that image, because yes, we need to break some chains. We need to make some noise before we get to that other side. So certainly that's what's happening now, is we're breaking these chains that have held us in these boxes of constriction for so long. and you see the themes out there, and you will feel the themes in your own life. But she teaches us, Eris, to radically accept ourselves, fiercely accept ourselves, love all of ourselves, and really dive into our feminine nature, feminine power. And that goes for whatever gender you are, whatever you are physically. That's not what it's about. It's about that inner balance of feminine and masculine energy. So Eris says to Brother Mars, you can go march over there, but I'm going to really do some work now, because I'm going to teach people to stand within their authentic power and to balance within themselves their feminine and masculine energy, to balance those and really grab on to all of yourself. Again, within ourselves, we like to push down those dark bits, the bits that we think, if we come to light, will be judged, which in and of itself is a fallacy, because we should be marching through this life knowing that we are our own drummers. And this is the energy of Eris. Radically accept yourselves, all of yourselves. Pull those bits that you want to hide away and tuck away and lock away, and bring them up to the light and say, I love you so much. I love you just as much as all of these bits that have been out in the open for so long. And as we try to make that change, not try, oh my goodness, see, caught myself. As we make that change, and as we are learning, relearning, rediscovering how to love ourselves fully, this world will change, because it's a mirror, and we'll see the vibration of the planet rise as our own vibration rises. There's no other way about it. It is the law of the universe. As our vibration rises, so does that of the planet, and vice versa. So many big things today. My goodness. Like I said, these 2 weeks of energy have really been in overload. And I hope to welcome you one day here in Volcano, where we are working on finding a property to greet people who are coming on their own sacred journey to connect with this island, connect with Pele, connect with the energy of transformation, with Kali. I wish to build a space to welcome you. So we're working on that. Surely the island is speaking. There's such energy here. And I am just humbled and grateful to have been called here by the ancestors and to be allowed to do the sacred work that I feel called to do. It is not without huge humility and a place of deep reverence that I am sitting here called to be here, and have heard and heeded that call. And when the island calls, you follow. But wherever you are in the world, where that land has called you, that's where you're meant to be, to work with those energies. So hopefully you are sitting where you feel called to be right now, because I know there was some crazy movement from January, say, to beginning of March. People I've connected with moving around the world and shifting and changed, and surely we moved around the world. But the land is speaking again. Mother Earth is speaking. And she's saying it's time to come home to yourself, time to come home to me, time to reconnect to the energy of water, which we've been talking about and will talk about, because water is speaking so clearly. And just rising up in so many different venues and avenues and within your own life. I'm hoping, and if it hasn't been, start now. There you go. Just start now, and just think, how do you serve water? How do you respect it? And if you think there's some areas that need shifting, then shift them. Don't wait for tomorrow. There's this sense of just urgency with all of the light workers saying, this is the time. This is the time. This is the time. Need to just start on that project. Don't know where it's going, but that's okay. That is the energy of water, just sinking into that flow, sinking into the current, and allowing it to take you where it's going, and trusting that you'll be fine on the journey. Might be like a whitewater rafting experience, a little bit bumpy, some rocks along the way, but at the end, you're just going to go out into this beautiful expanse of water that's calm and beautiful and crystalline, knowing that that's the place you're meant to be. So trusting, my friend, trust, trust, trust. This is all about letting go, surrender, and trust. And I know those are 3 words that you've heard before and have heard in other places, but I'm going to highlight them in big, bold, yellow highlighter right now and say truly, that is this journey at this moment in this time in space is about letting go of everything, surrendering to that power of water and the forces of the universe, and knowing that it's taking you where you meant to go, and that you have in your space chosen to be here, and your little ones as well. As much as we think that, oh, they're missing out on this or that, they have chosen to be here. This is their journey as well. So remember that. They are here for a reason, as we all are. So let's just take a collective breath as we finish this hour. And my goodness, how fast that seemed to go, as time is just seeming to speed up faster and faster. That gerbil wheel that we talked about at the beginning of the hour, just spinning faster and faster. But although the gerbil never gets to go anywhere, we are, even though it has that sense going somewhere. So just trusting that you're getting to where you need to go in that destination. So that's my cue that it's time to have a coffee break and sending my love and blessings and aloha to each and every one of you. And from my heart to your heart, we're all one and we are here together on this journey. So many blessings and have a beautiful week. Aloha.